To hashtag Talk Poverty. This is a campaign that started about a year and a half ago. The nation invested in a full-time poverty reporter, and he has a weekly column and a couple of other pieces. Bill Moyers has picked him up. We have Melissa Harris, Perry Harris on nationally as well. So we're getting some more people talking about poverty nationally. There was just a piece in the New York Times that squarely addressed the fact that we don't have a poverty conversation in our mainstream media in the country. And we just got news last week that the LA Times will have a full-time poverty beat, and we look forward to having a conversation with that person. There's also the author of Nickel and Dimes. She created a network of journalists who get a salary to work on poverty-related issues. These are very important storytellers. Poverty is got to be more than just a word. I think it's important for us to say the word poverty, and I'll walk you through an exercise on that in a minute. But we also have to be able to talk about what that means. What does the word mean? One of the best things I saw Ms. Mitchell do this year in the legislature in theme setting was to have us to ask us that question. What does it mean to be poor? What does it mean to be hungry? Missy gave my bio, which was accurate, if not grandstanding a little. But an important piece that's not in the bio I want you to know about me is that I grew up poor in California, here in California, in Northern California. When we think about those families that don't apply for food stamps because they're too proud, because they live in a small community where their neighbor might be the person taking the application, that was my family. You've hopefully heard a lot about the Food Stamp Challenge over the last couple of weeks as we've been advocating for the Farm Bill in DC. First, in the Imperial Valley, this is the breadbasket of the world. This is where all the food comes from. And we have incredibly diligent workers. These are people that walk to work, and they get there at 5 in the morning, dark, when it's still dark out, and they prepare our food, and they make it safe, and mostly we eat this amazing, incredible, fresh, and safe food here in our country, thanks to the Central Valley workers. But because of the trucks coming in and out, because of the lack of access to information about pollutants in the air that's available in multiple language, or even in the language of those who reside in that area. Their land, their communities are polluted. The air is difficult to breathe. Asthma is at incredible rates. And what's been going on in Imperial County to organize around that is incredible. And you have to look it up, and you'll look it up in policy links, regional equity projects. So please look at that. Real grassroots movements, working with people who are in low-income communities and trying to fight for the air they breathe. More in the Fresno, kind of Tulare County, Central Valley, they have this extreme deficit of clean drinking water. My parents lived in a trailer park for a long time. The drinking water was rusted. You wouldn't drink it. So automatically your income was less because you had to buy water. But everybody just took it for granted. I mean, when you grow up, when you live in a community where you don't have things like water or fresh air, you don't expect that you're supposed to, like the story that we heard Ms. Mitchell talk about. But organizing has been happening, and some lawsuits were brought out of the Central Valley that created a whole state plan and legislation passed to secure drinking water for every Californian. Drinking water. Check it out. Go to CRLA, California Rural Legal Assistance. They have a web page dedicated to California's plan to secure drinking water. And I hope you'll go there. Finally, in 2008, the city of Fresno lost a lawsuit because they had tried to remove an illegal residence of native mobile home parks. They were farm workers, and they had just their little trailers is all they had to live in. And they did this by taking bulldozers and pushing over people's homes their homes with their things in them, and baby pictures, and whatever they had left of their families or ancestries, and they just bulldozed them over. They lost that lawsuit in 2008, but that same year, they went out and they did the same thing to people living in tents. They bulldozed them over. Their IDs, their driver's license, all of it lost. They lost that fight too in court. That effort led to this kind of outrage that people shouldn't have the right to property if they're poor. And a mobilizing effort began to stop the criminalization of poverty and to secure people's rights to constitutional right to property. And that's called the Homeless Bill of Rights advocacy. Now, if you go to the Homeless Bill of Rights Facebook page, I hope you'll go there, and for the Western Regional Advocacy Project, and you'll learn about a growing movement to define the rights of people who have no place to sleep other than the streets. These are incredible, real grassroots efforts, and we see them coming, making their way to Sacramento, and telling what it means to be poor, and not just a word.